One farmer says, seems to me there was a tea party in Boston that was illegal too.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
We shall seek to establish and maintain a dollar which will not change its purchasing and debt-paying power during the succeeding generation.
As anguished shrieks rose up from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Government credit and government currency are really one and the same thing. A reserve of gold and a small reserve of silver.
So, and I said, well, what if it does happen? And he says, well, price will solve everything. I said, thanks, give me the gold. You know?
Why do central banks hold it? Well, it's a form of reserves. So why don't they hold diamonds? Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
Well, some people still think it's money.
Welcome back to the Junius Maltby Channel, my friends. To the extemporaneous ramblings of a madman broadcasting live and unscripted here in the bunker. Yes, thank you all for joining me once again here, where we can disrupt the plans of the schemers, the Harry Dents of the world, the Dave Ramseys, with their little plans and their portfolios and their 401ks and their Roths and their safe and stable little investment vehicles. Well, we're just here to just show them how unimportant and meaningless their little plans are. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message. Welcome back, my good friends. Good to see each and every single one of you channel members. Please give a round of applause and a shout out to thank you to Mrs. Maltby, who heard your pleas, your cries, for new emojis, specifically our friend, the Oracle. Well, he's not the Oracle of Omaha, the Oracle of wherever he's from. The Boomer of Boomers, the Outlier of Outliers, the silver goatee and glasses and bald head with an ear mic, Dave Ramsey, the Boomer of Boomers. Yeah, just just cancel. I mean, just the guy. Everything he says. He's very dated. I mean, he's like an expired jar of mayonnaise. It's been left out in the July heat. He's done. He's irrelevant. He's not current on things, where they're at, where the economy's going. The guy doesn't even understand sound money at all. He's completely disconnected from it. No concept whatsoever on where money comes from, what it means, what it represents, the history of it, where the value is, the definitions of supply and demand curves, the role of silver and gold throughout 7,000 years of human existence in exchanging value, in transferring value, in communicating value between each other for goods and services independently across cultures and across centuries, millenniums, spanning the globe on every single continent. No, it's a barbarous relic. It's a pet rock. He told people to sell when it was $14 per ounce. To get rid of it, to unload it, to offload it. Sell it. Put it in something that earns a stable 4%, like treasury bills or municipal bonds. Well, here you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I was hoping it would be what it was earlier when I first opened the foreign markets to look where silver was trading tomorrow, currently today here. But as you know what I'm saying, the Asian markets opened. I believe Korea and Japan and China, they all opened like within an hour of each other, sometime between, what would it be, like 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then they open every hour increment after that, depending which market we're talking about. But either way, when it first opened, silver was up $5 US per ounce in trading, and it was over 80. It was about 82, I believe, is what I saw on the screen. I think it's what I captured on a screenshot here for the thumbnail on the video. So it was up, again, like $5. There was a sell-off. You can see it. in the on the chart here, you can see that candle wick touching 84, I believe. It says the high was 83.75. So that's what it says it hit there, 83.75 in print on the screen. TX Tractor Life, good friend of the channel. Thanks for your support. Thanks for a generous super chat. He goes, I'd like a discount on mining stonks, please. I'd like a discount on all of it. I mean, I'm not going to complain if silver dips. You're not going to hear a peep out of me. I mean, if really we had a Silver Thursday, you're not going to, and I can tell you why. I mean, I would bet a significant amount that you're not going to ever see a Silver Thursday again. We should talk about that for a moment, because I have been thinking about it throughout the week, and I have plenty of tabs pulled up, so we'll get to the other news and discussions, but I wanted to mention this. You know, a lot of people talk about that, and it's definitely a valid point. It's relevant. It's something silver stackers should be aware of. Back in March, whatever it was, 1980, when silver plummeted $40 in one trading day. Remember, that was, again, that 1980. Okay, so what was going on in 1980? Well, I'll tell you what was not going on. There was not a whole lot of satellites being launched, not as many as today. There wasn't as many electric vehicles being made, solar panels being made, all kinds of batteries, the batteries of the world for every device, essentially, cell phones, you name it. The amount of industrial silver consumption for both defense, tech, and now data centers, AI, and all of the other things there was no internet. There was no personal computers in 1980. I just don't see that happening. I think the dynamics right now, this isn't a Hunt Brothers situation. Okay, you don't have two guys that, I think, what were they, oil guys down there in Texas, trying to corner a silver market and drive a price up with recent inflation coming off the 70s and all the other things taking place back then. This is a lot different, with a lot different levels of inflation, a lot different QE activity. The money supply is different. The geopolitics are different. The defense spending is different. The consumption of silver is different. The backdrop that you are looking at right now currently on this silver chart is nowhere near the time period of 1980 in the Silver Thursday when it fell $40 an ounce. Is there going to be a retreat with a chart like this? It's possible. I think every dip at this point with silver is an absolute buying opportunity, as it's been for the last decade and a half, 2 decades. I mean, people had literally a decade to average silver well under $20 an ounce. People had the ability to do that. You're sitting at 76.41. So anyone in silver's done well. Any one of you who's done it, I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum. The raids, I mean, come on now. Every single person in the raids here, when we were clearing 1,000 ounces a raid sometimes. 1,000 ounces a raid. There were some that were much bigger than that. And we were doing that for 20 and 30. The range was about $20 to $30 an ounce. Man, Doug Williams for... You want a Maxine Waters impersonation here on the Junius Maltby Channel? I will tell you there needs to be an investigation for this. We got these people on the YouTube and they be stacking. They call it. They're taking all the silver off the market and threatening the United States of America. We need the silvers and they should Gibbs it. Hopefully, is that worth your super chat, my friend? I don't know. I haven't listened to her in so long, Doug. I would have to go in and really check out her voice fluctuations again. But that for now. That's Maxine. That's Maxine for tonight. Mr. Maltby, is it true that you was telling people to buy the silver for a raid? Was this some type of a domestic tourist action or activity, Mr. Maltby? Mr. Maltby, I got questions for you, Mr. Maltby. What is it you is doozins? What is it you is doozins? Respectfully, Senator, I would just like to say that, first off, I don't understand a word that you said. If you could please perhaps get a translator that can speak my Western dialect of English.
She went to the Leering Center.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe she went to Tim Waltz's Leering Center. Can you imagine going there? And you can imagine taking your kid to a Somalian daycare.
Hey.
I mean,
There's a new emoji.
They have, what do they got? They got like, yeah, again, Mrs. Maltby's got an emoji for that. I mean, what do they got? Like, they put cot in their bottles. The kids chew cot in there and teach them about, I mean, maybe it's not that bad. I mean, you might learn some helpful skills like assembly and disassembly of an AK-47, proper sight alignment with an RPG,
how to invade
piracy. I mean, I don't know the first thing of taking a Maersk ship down with like 6 dudes. That would be pretty cool. It's a skill set. I mean, gotta be honest. I mean, if Somalian daycare could instill, I would go. Do they have like an adult learning center to where I could go and learn the modern techniques of piracy 101, small boat tactics and operations, approaching larger vessels, how to avoid fire nozzle streams, small weapons tactics and handling from small boat operations and small boat platforms. These are great classes. I could see Brock getting heavily involved in this. I've got an expertise in that arena of education. I could give you a knowledge transfer. Let me just tell you, when you're operating in that type of environment, you really need to be situationally aware. And it's really your focus when handling your weapon system platforms on naval platforms and small boat tactics. You really want to manage economy of effort, economy of motion, body symmetry, and just overall platform presentation. It's very important to kind of just feel the waves below your feet, just kind of bend your knees, rock, kind of get that platform stance, that fighter stance, and just kind of throw that weapon up and just operate from the boat operationally while you're operating. Is that how Brock would address small boat tactics? I guess he probably would figure it out.
Although the Leering Center might teach you how to fix dinghies and how to...
Brock would go, he would do well at the Leering. He would probably learn how to read at the Leering Center. Yeah, Brock never sleeps because he's operating operationally in an operational environment.
Did you see that one earlier?
I did, yes. All right, let's, continuing on. I wanted to show you a couple of things. Back to that, the whole calming the jets here, because the reason I bring this up, because the Silver Thursday thing, you're getting it, it's throwing around a lot. I've actually heard some critics of silver say this is just another 1980 silver bubble, and people need to get out and get out now. And they need to take profits. Quote, take profits. Everyone, I'm so sick of hearing that word. What do you mean? What do you mean, take profits? Like, I'm in profit. Put them in, taking them how? Like, you want me to exit, get into dollars again, betting that somehow the dollar is going to strengthen over time, and that I just, to each his own. Do what you're going to do. Again, I think we're in a different phase, a different environment, a different backdrop, and I'll just give you a few examples here. If you need them, you want to share them, maybe it'll help motivate you. I don't know. Do what you do. You. I'm not telling you to hold or to sell or to diamond hands, whatever the meme phrase might be these days, to emphasize one's position in not selling, brother. It doesn't matter to me. I really don't care. I mean, I just doesn't, it's not going to affect me. So you do what you got to do. You take the information that's out there, digest it, look at the backdrop, look at the way the world's going, and just judge for yourself. Hey, I'm going to put some of this back into cash, or I'm going to do I've heard a lot of people talk about doing the gold-silver swap, even people very close to me. Do what you want to do. The thing is, you make the decision. Once you execute it, you own it. It's on you. No looking back. There's no gimme. There's no rewind button on that type of thing. So, the gold-silver swap, a lot of opinion on that. Heard a lot of people talking. I'm going to jump over at 50 to 1. I'm going to jump at 30 to 1. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's not as horrendous a decision as like if you were to sell it and buy Apple stock or jump into some other area. I think going into gold at the ratio you choose is fine because, hey, at least you're in gold. I mean, the two are going to move together, I think, fairly frequently. And gold's going to continue to rise. Silver's going to continue to rise. So, do whatever you want to do in that. But again, the reason I think this is a lot different is we have to look at a few things. Let me get this here so where you can see it. Again, I don't have an engineer. I don't have a producer. I've just got Mrs. Maltby, and she's already gone. Hopefully she's making tea. Mrs. Maltby! You guys, right? Maybe she's reading the chat. She's in a different part of the house here. So somebody write in the chat, Mrs. Maltby, make Junius his tea, the ginger tea with the lemon. That'd be splendid if you would, so please. Thank you very much. This was sent to me from a friend earlier. Again, this is a post that was circulating. It's part of I think a bigger X tweet, whatever that goes by now. Vault exodus in the first 4 days of December alone, 60% of all registered silver was claimed for delivery. January 1st cliff. China, again, if you guys aren't familiar with this, I did post something on this topic recently in the channel. I think we'll go to that in a minute. The January 1st cliff, China's restricting exports in exactly 6 days. If you guys aren't familiar with that headline, that bit of news, it's critical information, definitely something different from 1980. The January 1st cliff represents coming up in, what is today anyway? 28, 29, 30, so in like 3 days. We're 3 days out. In 3 days, China bans exports of silver. You'll see why that's a pretty big news in a minute, but they're going to ban the export of silver from China. So that market and the silver produced there is going to be essentially taken off the global stage. It's theirs. They're going to keep it. And remember, that doesn't mean they're not buying it. They're just going to absorb more. Because they are some of the biggest buyers. There's a lot of information. China, Russia, India. They're consuming the metals, the gold, the silver. It's been that way. Again, if you've been on this channel for the decade, you've seen how we reported numerous times the flow of precious metals from the west to the east. They've been consuming it far more. And they've been the largest buyers running for a long, long, long time. That is something we have known for a long time. So January 1st, however, China's not going to export it, and they're pretty big producers. That's going to change the silver market globally dramatically, and that's coming in, again, 3 days. So is this priced in? People know this information. It's out there now. It's probably going to be priced in pretty heavily, and then the effects of it will have to be assessed at the time. Make an assessment. Make an assessment. What is your assessment? We'll see. We'll see. 2026 is going to be a fun year. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, how I like to say sometimes, intradesting. Very intradesting. The CME can raise margins to 100%, but that only affects the paper gamblers. As you know, CME was raising margins. Some people will use this as an example of why silver was going to drop in price dramatically. A lot of discussion of there being COMEX or LBMA meetings recently, like emergency meetings, and drastic measures being taken to quelch this explosion in the price of metals. Because as you know, and as we've researched here and discussed in the last live, the short positions are down like 20 billion now. 20 billion. $20 billion minimum. That's a minimum, because that's the information they're revealing. So U.S. short positions on silver have lost $20 billion this year. We know that they've apparently, and it is rumored, have gone to the Fed. They're going to the quantitative easing. They're trying to get some liquidity. They're trying to get some money to cover their losses. It sounds like they went and looked for $17 billion the other day. It just so happens at that time that was essentially what their losses were on silver shorts. So a little bit of different environment than 1980. Rolf Steiner, good, dedicated friend of the channel. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, will an American Somali boy or girl be chosen to represent District 11, Minnesota, the agricultural district, in the 2026 Patriot Games? Very eloquent and allegorical reference there, Rolf. Yes. U.S. is heading towards almost these districts and these Hunger Games types of events. Perhaps a Somalian would do pretty good to represent your district in the Hunger Games. So China, how big is this? How big is this? Well, I'll show you here. China's number 2 on the silver export list here. Let's get this on the screen. Let me see if I can get it sized for you guys appropriately where you can actually read it. There you go. So here's a list of the 15 countries that exported the highest dollar worth value of silver in 2024. So it's pretty recent, 2024, not too long ago, last year. Hong Kong, U.S., they exported $4.4 billion. Now, this is in 2024 dollars, so I I would just almost triple. I would double this at least. Let's just double it to make it more relevant. It's most likely in those dollars. So I would say they probably had about $8.8 billion worth of silver. You could do the math on how many ounces that is. Or you could go by the dollar amount per ounce of silver back then, divide it, figure out how much ounces they got out of the ground, or it's probably relevant and it's probably listed somewhere. You could probably look up the actual amount. These are typically very searchable. Hong Kong, 12.7% of total silver exports. Now, as you know, China kind of wants to get involved in that region, and they're expanding their influence. So look at mainland China, though. Number 2, 3.8 billion, 10.9% of, essentially 11% of the silver production coming out of China there. What I find interesting is United Kingdom, because I've heard that that's actually gone down and it's almost negligible now. But let's just go with it. 10% UK. I mean, how are they still getting silver out of the UK? Are they selling old stocks, or silver they've acquired over the years of their empire? I don't know. Let's see. I guess they exported that much silver, so it doesn't mean they mined it, because I would like to see and research that, and it would take me obviously at a different time. I can't do it right now as we're doing the live, but perhaps someone here could scramble their brain and find out what UK's mine production in silver is, because I highly doubt that they're producing that much silver on that island of inbred midgets. Snaggletooth. Sorry, I forgot the most key definition for my United Kingdom brethren. The island of snaggletooth inbreds. Sometimes I like to talk smack to the British, but you got to give it to them. They ran a pretty tight ship for a while. Pretty good empire back when they were, before they had been inundated with migrants. I mean, you think of how great Great Britain truly was. We talk a lot of smack, but I'll tell you, what a remarkable level of government organization, sophistication, culture, tradition, and just Western Europe. I mean, it was really quite a remarkable civilization, if you will. I mean, in spite of its flaws, let's not judge the past through the lens of the present, but in spite of its flaws, every nation and every nation state has their blemishes and their flies in the ointment. But aside from that, Britain did a pretty good job. I mean, you got to hand it to them. The sun never did set on the British Empire. Tempest, thanks for the super chat. He goes, Mexico will pay to build that wall to protect their silver. Exactly. I mean, it's impressive that we haven't decided that Mexico needed a full-blown dose of cruise missile-induced democracy yet, because Mexico leading at number 4 there with 7.4%. And we all know that's with their level of production. You imagine if you got some of the highly efficient and even better operations going on in Mexico. I can imagine with the mountains and the known resource-rich region that it is, you could easily double that. And there's a lot of silver to be found in Mexico. Not only Mexico, but Bolivia, which I'm surprised isn't on the list. But we've got Germany, South Korea, Switzerland, and the list goes on. United States, though, down at number 11. We only produce about 1.35 or exported 1.35 billion. I guess this might differ from mining statistics. I'm not sure. I don't know for certain, but interesting export statistics there for that list of countries. Now, let's go to the littlest of brothers of these metals. And we've talked about this with the recent news, the end of the U.S. penny, and how the United States, in its fiscal management and its malfeasance, has failed to even maintain a copper standard. You all know we lost the gold standard, we lost the silver standard, and they can't even operate on a shrapnel standard of shit metals at this point. They can't even afford to produce a copper-coated zinc penny. So the penny's gone. We all know that we lost the copper pennies, the 95% copper pennies, back in 1981-82, pre-82 pennies. 82 pennies being half of them in circulation approximately, being that 95% copper, the other half being just using zinc shrapnel. But they failed the copper standard back then, in the early 80s. And Gresham's Law has seen that those have been hoarded out of circulation, as any good stacker knows. The Gresham's Law activity taking place on the copper pennies as they were hoarded out of circulation. Well, now the other ones are being hoarded out, and they're not even circulating that well. But interesting news on the copper front. As we've seen copper prices rising, and it's directly related to inflation. And it's, again, copper's been a key coinage metal since essentially as long as gold and silver almost, in its form of being put into bronze, being in bronze. And look at this now. You've got all of the copper on JM Bullion. What this post is saying is the world's largest online precious metal dealer. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, possibly. Sold out of copper. There's no copper on their site. It's gone. And I actually went there to check it out for myself. So here it is. We're on jmbullion.com. Here's their copper. And it's literally gone. I mean, every single ingot and size, everything from 1 ounce pieces to 5 ounce pieces to kilo pieces to pound pieces to 5 pound pieces. There's no copper on JM Bullion. No copper bullion available. Sorry, you don't get copper today. Good day, sir. Rolf, thank you again for the super chat. He goes, what was the penalty for losing the Roman standard? Oh, the loss of the Roman Empire was, it's devastating. I still grieve it. What was the penalty, though, Rolf? I know what you're saying. When the Romans would lose their standard in battle, what was the penalty? Was it death? A decimation? Would they be decimated? Every 10th man killed in the unit? Is that right? I believe we have a Roman history lesson coming in the chat, my friends, with our Professor Rolf, who is always a vast reservoir, a well of information. Just remarkable when it comes to the knowledge of these things, and especially his knowledge on the Roman Empire. I'm sure, Rolf, you're probably typing away right now, giving us a good answer on this one. So pay attention, chat. Learn something. Rolf's about to give you a knowledge transfer. The other day, back to the backdrop. Okay, we saw the copper shortage. It's in the news. You see it. It's sold out. But the other day, I posted here the Elon situation. As many of you are aware, Elon tweeted on the topic of, where is it? Okay, here it is. Here it is. Yes, I found it. I did find it. There's the tweet. And again, you guys have participated in this conversation on the channel, I believe. This is on the channel wall, the posts there. Let's see. Okay. Gold is, so VBL's Ghost had posted, gold is money, but silver is more. If silver flips to fully precious, economic risk comes. And he has a down arrow pointing to a tweet, an X tweet, from Elon himself, the autistic ketamine guy. He goes, this is not good. Silver is needed in many industrial processes. So this is Elon apparently complaining or upset that silver's rising. Makes sense. Makes sense, right? I mean, I was thinking along the lines of his Tesla's production. And I did some research on that, and I posted it and shared it with all of you. And back then, it had estimated, and it could be more than this, it could be this amount, but earlier when I had first looked into it, we found that Elon consumes about 170,000 ounces per month in just the Tesla manufacturing process. So 170,000 ounces, that's quite a bit. You start doing the math on what that equated to just with this year's rise in silver prices, how much that's costing those companies now in production costs that they weren't paying before. So that's going to eat into their profits instantly. Obviously, the money has to come from someplace. Every other cost being the same, they're now spending more on the silver, and there you go. But I was curious. I was like, well, tonight I was thinking on that because I was going to mention this particular topic as part of tonight's discussion, contrasting the current backdrop versus 1980 and Silver Thursday and all that big concern that everyone has. And, of course, there's this factor with the modern tech and what's being used there. And just with now, I wanted to find out exactly how much Elon and all of his companies, because he runs a lot of companies, how much exposure does he have to buying silver? And how much does he need for his various endeavors? Well, SpaceX came up, and I didn't even think of that. Well, I didn't know what they do. I don't really look into all of their satellite production in there. I just thought they launch rockets every now and then. But that's right. They put up satellites. They do this. They do that. They're, this big space company, right? Now, apparently, approximately 500 ounces of silver in a satellite. I didn't know that. Did you guys? Crazy. How many satellites? We'll have to find that out. I'll search that live with you guys right now. We'll look at how many satellites are produced a year globally, how many ounces of silver is an average in those satellites, and how much silver that is, because it's probably quite a bit. Micah Robinson, thanks for the super chat. He goes, a lot of bullion dealers are changing to use the Chinese spot versus COMEX. That makes sense. That would make, if that's what they're paying, that's what the price is, right? To the highest bidder, the metal goes. Well, in looking into this, again, the reason I got the $170,000 a month before, and I screenshotted it, was from a discussion describing and querying the question with the AI chat. So that original answer was $170,000. Tonight it said $83,000 to $133,000 per month for Tesla, but I had given it a pretty specific. When I first asked that question, it was a lengthy question, and I gave it a lot of other information. So I think I'm going to go with the we'll just say 150,000 then, whatever. But now you go to SpaceX, and it looks like they're burning up about 41,000 ounces per month. Now, you have 50 and 50. Let's just say 200,000, roughly. I think is a safe number to say that Elon is consuming, burning through, and utilizing around 200,000 ounces of silver per month. So $5 is $1 million. Every $5 silver moved. Now, silver has moved 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. $50 almost. Let's just say $50. That's 10? What is that? Are we talking like $10 million or more a month increase in costs? It's a lot. It's a lot. So I think that's probably why Elon's getting a little nervous. He's probably sweating because his accountants are saying, hey, we got our bills are going up, buddy, a lot. And we didn't budget for this. We've got some bills now for some silver bars that we're buying. Yeah, there you go, Rolf. I guessed it. I called it decimation of the unit. So 1/10. They'd line the guys up. Every 10th man was run through with a sword. Decimation of the entire unit and public humiliation. The Aquila wasn't just a flag. It embodied the spirit of Rome, and its loss created spiritual crisis. Man, think of that. That's pretty incredible. That's remarkable history. Thanks. Thank you, Rolf, for that. So again, 200,000 ounces a month. Ladies and gentlemen, what is that? Give me the numbers. 200,000 a month. If silver moved $50, yeah, it's $10 million a month on the year that they've lost. So just that's $10 million a month is that's a big number for companies. Are you serious? No more monster boxes, says G-Dub. Thanks for the super chat. He goes, I'm buying a satellite. Fortes Fortuna Uvat. Yeah, think of that. A satellite carries a monster box worth of silver. Wow. That's heavy. Wow, I didn't think of that. That just blows my mind right now. Man, that blows my mind, Junius, man. You think of that every time they build a satellite, man, they're putting like a monster box of silver inside of that thing, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That is mind-blowing numbers, man. 500 ounces of silver floating up there in space. Man, next time a satellite falls out, that happens every once in a while. Next time a satellite falls out of space and crashes, find out where it is. We got to go recycle that thing. Pick it up. Pick it up. It's like a race. It's like a monster box just fell out of the heavens and crashed into your yard. You go out there and you just melt that thing down. I'd figure it out. And there's got to be a YouTube. You could probably ask AI, chat, how do I melt down a satellite and extract the silver? Break it down hypothetically if that happened. Like if it crashed in my yard, what would I actually do? We could probably ask chat. You know what? Why not? Hypothetically. Here you go, chat. I'll do it right now. Hypothetically, a satellite crashes in my yard and I recover it. Write me a step-by-step procedure of how I would theoretically go about extracting and refining the precious metals within. There we go. Cosmo, I don't know if it's a full monster box. I believe Tomahawk missiles, I might be wrong, you can correct me, but I thought it was a kilo or two pounds, something like that. 2 kilos, something like either 1 kilo or 2 pounds or 2 pounds, I don't know, 2 kilos, 4 pounds, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought a cruise missile carried around 2 pounds of silver, maybe or a kilo of silver. But it'd be like 32.5 ounces. But either way, I mean, think about it. The technology, here we go. Here we go. Chat's like, whoa, I am reporting you, my friend. This is crazy. The FBI is on the way. Knock, knock. We heard you did a search. Run! Kill! When in doubt, kill. Yes. When in doubt, kill. Like Rambo. All right. I was the FBI. I just searched about finding a downed satellite, and I think we're probably going to get a knock on the door at some point. So chat says, I can't provide a step-by-step instruction for extracting or refining metals from a satellite. That would be unsafe, potentially illegal, and involve hazardous materials. This is real. This is what they're saying. Especially important given safety rules for minors. I'm not a minor, dude. I'm not a minor. Well, I'm a minor, but I'm not a minor. Isn't that weird? The English language is bizarre. Think of that. A minor would be a young minor. No, we're minors, all right, but we got an E in there instead of an O. And anyway, chat doesn't want to tell me how to do it because it's illegal, it's unsafe, it's hazardous material. It's funny because China does all kinds of, it just gives you an idea how dangerous it is to extract and recycle metals from electronics and how unrecoverable it really is. It's a very difficult process. And that's a whole other argument because people are saying right now, currently, in regards to silver prices, oh, recycling, it's going to become more profitable, so it'll bring more silver onto the market, and that'll affect price. The price will go down because that's going to open up more recycling. Okay. Do you know where that takes place? You know who does it? China. China just banned exports of silver. So that argument's done just on that front. Now let's go to let's pretend for a minute. Let's pretend for a minute the EPA, all the environmental standards, laws, and regulations and legalities in the Western countries. I mean, you're talking about people that have paper straws, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you're talking about people who don't even want to use toilet paper anymore. You know the people I'm talking about. The Branch Covidians, the people still wearing masks to get their vax. These types. Let's pretend for a minute they allowed for the recycling and recovery of silver from technological devices in these Western places. Even then, the cost, the toxicity, and with some of their environmental controls that they would still have on the books, as I'm sure they would, it would be prohibitive, and it's just not going to happen. So the argument of recycling to bring more silver on the market, they're exhausting that as it is, to the tune of, I believe, is it 100 million ounces a year? Several 100,000 out there. We've looked it up. We've covered it before. There's already a massive recovery and recycling economy in place, operating at full steam year-round. You're not going to squeeze any more blood out of that turnip. It's already operating as fast as it can to make up for the massive deficits in supply every year. So before you make that argument that recycling is going to take place and they're going to open more mines and they're going to go after more just difficult ore, know how long it takes to get mines online first. Know your all-inclusive cost per ounce sold at those mines. Know your extraction costs at those mines, at current fuel costs and labor costs. There's a lot that goes into it. I've looked at that extensively over the decade. And I will tell you this. Recycling and new mine expansion is not going to put a damper on silver to the tune that some of these buffoons are claiming. So next time you hear that, or you're on some channel that's proclaiming these things, just keep in mind, pump the brakes a little bit on your hysteria on the silver price plummeting because, oh my goodness, they've opened a new mine. I mean, okay. Look at extraction. Yeah, all right. If you understood it and they looked into the depths of it, they would realize it doesn't mean very much at all. And if they knew how much supply is dwindling, they would understand that it doesn't mean anything. They could find a brand new mine today with billions of dollars in silver, and the price wouldn't even move. Rolf, thank you again for a super chat. He goes, do you remember the spiritual crisis suffered by some in the Silver Legion when they bought silver at $25 and the next day it was smashed down to $22? Absolutely. We were being mocked here on the channel, and you were here, Rolf. You were here. You were in those raids. We were raiding silver on those days, and people thought we were crazy. You were being ridiculed, condescended to. It was bizarre. Well, doesn't matter. Hindsight's 20/20. Come on. So anyways, high level only what professionals would do. I'm still curious if we found this this satellite. Apparently, we're not allowed to do anything with it because high-level people would have to be involved. Do not touch or dismantle it. Satellites contain toxic propellants, pressurized vessels, sharp composites, and radiation-hardened electronics. Space law. Space objects remain the property of the launching nation or company under international treaties. That I did not know. Space law. What's your major? I'm in space law, satellite recovery and ownership. My name's Derek. G-Dub. Cheapest price for $100 of junk silver is now $5,400. Do the Maltbys own any constitutional? My favorite. Very little, G-Dub. I would like more constitutional. I have very little. I've probably got like, I don't know, maybe $10, $5 face in loose maybe a little more. I don't know if you count all the 50s, little 50s and stuff, 50-cent pieces. I used to have more. I regret it. I did unload some 50s. I think I traded them or something back in the day. I had rolls of like little walking liberties. Don't remind me. Don't remind me. Do you guys remember what a roll of walking liberties was going for on eBay back in the day? 20 of them. It was like $10 face value. There was 20 walking liberties in a little bankroll. I think those things were like $100. I think they were less. I mean, it was $83, $75. I think sometimes they were cheap, ridiculous. Let's see. Cosmo, thanks for the super chat. She says, remember when those other silver YouTubers did a hit piece on you because of the raids and my premiums, fun times? Yes, there were several. I mean, there was a little stormtrooper boy. But no hard feelings. Honestly, no hard feelings. I don't. Some good people. They're all again. Everyone has their differences, and people say things for entertainment reasons and other reasons, whatever. Forgive and forget, move on. They're honestly, like, some of those guys were really good people, and I know that for a fact. And were good to me in this channel for years, and some people had a different approach, a different opinion on how that would go, or the idea of raids and such. But you know what? We did our thing. They do their thing, and we had fun. And honestly, I remember once we did report, we added it all up. And who was it? Mrs. Maltby. There was a member of the channel that used to add up all the raids and like keep a record, and they did a really good job. Anyway, there was someone who did that back in the day for the channel, and they had cataloged it all, and honestly, it was thousands and thousands. It was tens of thousands of ounces. We did report it one day in a video. I forget the exact number. But think of how many ounces you guys pulled off the market back then. Physical delivery that you have in hand that you acquired well under $30 an ounce in the 20 range. I mean, it's just crazy. I remember a friend of mine just today showed me a picture. 2020, he bought a tube of Libertads, which is crazy because they only made 100,000 2020 Libertads back during COVID. It's a rarer, Krugerrands, silver Krugerrands, 2020 Krugerrands. That's the year. They only made 100,000 of those, I believe it was. And he had a tube of 20 of them that he'd ordered back then and taken delivery of. And part of the raid, during the raid times here. And it just blows his mind thinking about it to this day and looking at these prices. He's especially looking at what they go for now. Those are each worth about over $100 each for a 2020 silver Krug. Because, yeah, there is some numismatic value to them because of their scarcity. And it just blows his mind. He was saying today, looking at them, he's like, I can't even look at these. He's like, I can't believe these are $100 each now. He's like, I literally bought these for like $20 a piece. They 5x'd. They're, 500% or whatever increase in value. It blows his mind, and it should. It's staggering for anybody now. So again, back to space law. It's not ours. The other country can come claim it. It's funny. Are they going to pay for your house though? I mean, your satellite fell on me. So secure the area, notify local authorities who can coordinate with national space agencies or the owner. No tools. They're basically telling you not to touch it. And they're not going to tell you how to extract it. But there's 500 ounces of silver in there, so I'll just hold it hostage. That's what I'll do. You can have it. You can have it from my cold, dead hands. I'll sandbag it, and I'll build a little bunker, and I'll sleep next to it. My little glowing hot orb of space. My satellite. 500 ounces. So again, we're going to go back because I want to, on the satellite issue. Okay. Globally, this is another question we wanted to ask. How many satellites are produced per year on average? Now, how many ounces of silver and gold are consumed in this production? How many ounces used per month? Just curious. The satellite fell from space because it was foretold many eons ago that a satellite would come and it would descend from the heavens, from the planet Pungendai, of where we will go one day. And when that satellite comes, the silver will be Janus's, for Janus owns the stars. For Janus fell from the stars. As many of you know, there was a cult leader named Janus of the precious metals world, and Janus hypnotized many followers to drink a bizarre strain of Kool-Aid, and it would motivate them to buy silver and gold. Janus has gorgozillion silver, 6 gorgozillions of silver. Janus. Thanks for the tea, Mrs. Maltby. Now, global satellite production, if you're curious, and I'm curious, that's what got me on the topic of silver from the first point in time when I was 7. Global satellite production approximate. In recent years, the number of satellites launched per year has risen sharply. Makes sense, I guess, makes sense. That's good to know. I like, we've kind of exhausted polluting Earth. Let's pollute other places now, like space and the galaxy. Let's just jettison all of our garbage and filth.
Is there oil in space?
There's probably oil. There's oil on Mars. That's why they're going there.
Okay.
They have to get the Tuscan Raiders. The Tuscan Raiders. They have to go take them out. They need freedom. And we need to it's part of the international.
Is there not enough brown children in space?
Yeah,
to make it worth their time.
Well, they're going to give Mars to the Somalians. You know, I would support that. I mean, it's got sand. If we could make it habitable, I would be absolutely for giving an entire planet to Somalia. And they could even call it that. They could change it. Like we changed the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. We call Mars, I don't know, Somalianus. Somarzia. I was thinking more Somalianus.
Yeah.
Somali.
The Leering planet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea if we could get it to create a nice oxygen-rich atmosphere, at least 21% oxygen, and get some precipitation going. I mean, they would probably live at the same technological level that they live now. But then could you imagine the Black Hawk Down scenario when we have to go there with the Space Force? I mean, I can just picture it now. Space Force operating outside of Mars because they find some precious metal there. And now we got to go take it back and renege the treaty. And then you have a whole other Black Hawk Down.
Mars Mogadishu?
Yeah. Yeah, it would basically be like Mars-Adishu. Mars-Adishu. Instead of Black Hawk Down, it would be like, Space Shuttle Down. Space Shuttle Down.
Starlink.
Gordy's gone, man. I'll be outside. Gordy's gone, man.
Abu is gone.
Yeah. I'm sure within months of the Somalians having Mars, though, they would have a heightened level of technology. They would be they'd probably eventually become an advanced civilization. Honestly, I mean, the number of scholars that they would probably have among them, doctors and engineers, and I mean, if you think about that, the number of doctors and engineers that you would have, eventually you might even have a super society, a super planet, near peer to Earth, if you will, near peer competition. We would have for the first time in our solar system planetary competition and interplanetary trade. With Somaliistan or whatever they'd call it, Somars or Somalianus. I don't know.
Ray Finkel.
Ray Finkel. All praise to Janice. Janice is here with us as always. Rolf, by the way, how did that gold odd hand for Rolf, thank you for bringing that up. How'd that go, ladies and gentlemen? Did we get fed a line of BS on that or what? Oh my gosh. Dude, Ray Finkel says Junius should create AI slop with all the Jubius characters. We really should. Mrs. Maltby, you probably could help me with that. You're good at that.
What?
Creating AI images of the Jubius Maltby characters, all the weird little characters like Brock and Janice.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many of them. The guy from Bronklin.
I try not to... Well, I don't. See, that's the crazy part. The raid posters and all that was pre
No, the ones we're talking about. I'm talking about the ones you do now with the pets and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that. You could use AI to make whatever. You can describe. I don't know. I don't even know the links you use. Whatever kind of.
How does one draw Janice?
You'd have to give it some prompts. We'd figure it out. But anyway, some metal cult leader. Around 2,600 satellites were launched in 2023, 3,000 launches this year, around 2025 and counting, so 3,000 plus launches. So regional production estimates are around 3,000 satellites a year. We'll go with that. Okay, 3,000. There's about, some industry discussion estimates up to 500 ounces per satellite. So if that's true, for large complex communication satellites, which a lot of stuff is communication, so they're launching. That's a lot of silver there. And the conservative for the average across all satellite types, the small, medium, and large, you're looking at 50 to 150 ounces of silver per satellite. So let's do an aggregate. It's doing it all here. Low estimates. High estimates of about approximately 450,000 ounces a year internationally, and about 9,000 ounces of gold per year. Wow. Wow. Man, that's a lot. Man, that's a lot of gold to throw up into space, man. Whoa, how many ounces of gold did it say were on a satellite? Come on. Gold. Let me go. Oh, here it is. Typically, per satellite, the order of a few ounces. A plausible mid-range is about 1 to 3 ounces of gold per satellite. Okay, so not a lot there. But looking at anywhere from 2,500 to 9,000 ounces of gold a year consumed. Divide. Okay, so we're looking at, this is lower than what it said. Well, I guess that's right. Elon's company was doing 41,000. So this is saying upper bound, lower bound, silver and gold. Okay. So the numbers are a little different. I mean, is this including every single country? I don't know. Anyway, we know it's a lot, but it looks like big numbers. Yeah, again, I want to talk about that before I forget. TX Tactical Life, thanks for the super chat, my friend. He goes, glad to see all those arrests of the treasonous Dems under Trump. Not one arrest, not one. Pam Bondi's a failure. Of course, we all knew that. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing ever happens. Stop. It's the never happen button. Just push it. See that little thumb up, the like button? Click it. That's the nothing will ever happen button. There will never be an arrest forever. Ever. Ever. Only plebes, peasants, serfs, and knaves get arrested. Come on now. They arrest people for not paying their taxes, like $50 here or there, but they can lose $9 billion in the state of Minnesota to Somalian fraud. Please, my friends, none of them get arrested ever. Ever. Tim Waltz? Are you kidding me? That fat retard's never getting arrested. If you live in Minnesota, please drive by his house. Call him a retard. Yell it. Scream it. Use a megaphone. Record it. Please do so. On the audit of the Fort Knox, never going to happen, ever. Of course, Elon and Trump were claiming that to make the plebes and the serfs, the knaves and the retards, even myself, I'm including myself in all of that, jump up and down and celebrate. Oh, yeah, look what he's doing. Orange man do good things. Orange man audit sports football. I forgot. What was he saying? I don't even know, man. Football's on at 7 o'clock. My favorite team. I'm wearing his jersey, man. I'm number 13, man. Yeah. Tycon Shakarius III, man. He went to freaking Minnesota State. Now I wear his jersey, man. So that's why no one remembered. No one really cares. Everyone forgot about that. And they're never going to. Do you think they would audit it? And I saw this. I'm inspired to say this from the recent Tucker interview with some stock bro. But they made a good point that I never really thought of in these terms. It's like, wouldn't they divulge it or audit it? You think they would probably be pretty quick to do it if there was more gold. Do you think there's more gold in there than they're saying? Do you think there's more gold in Fort Knox? Maybe that's why they're not auditing it. If there's more, maybe. No, it's because there's either less or none. Smirk, smile, there's probably none. They're not going to tell you. It's gone. It's been called for. It's been used to pay off other stuff. They're not going to audit. They're not going to audit Fort Knox. Come on. Again, these are the criminals. Do you think they're going to audit themselves? Do you think they're going to investigate themselves? These people kill people for fun and lie about it every single day. Every single day. Rolf, thanks for another generous donation. He goes, could the current official positions in the precious metals markets be far worse than is reported given other current misreporting in other fields? Absolutely. Rolf, man, you and me are like mind melding right now. It's like that meme, the two brains just crossing with an arc of energy between them. I think we've thought and professed this very sentiment, and I think you and I have even communicated 100. Think about it. If these people will lie about the myriad things that they lie about so often. I mean, they do not even, every time their lips are moving, it's a false statement. I mean, these are the weapons of mass destruction, people. Come on now, the lies upon lies, the depths of lies within lies. It's like Inception. It's like dreams within dreams within dreams within dreams. These people have lies so tightly packaged and riddled up in other lies, redacted lies, in files of lies, shoveled away into cabinets full of lies, in cabinets of lies, in warehouses of lies, boxed and crated and put into top secret lies. There's so many. These people have never told the truth. That's all they do.
The gold is either in Israel or Somalia.
Yeah, it's gone. And it's not yours. They stole it from you and it's gone. They stole all of your wealth. They've inflated and debased and devalued your currency. Your silver's gone. Your copper's gone. And every single day that you breathe, your currency purchases and acquires less, and silver goes up, and gold goes up, and oil goes up, and everything goes up, and food goes up, your costs go up, your energy goes up, and your standard of living goes down. Soon you will own nothing and be happy.
Now's a good time to throw down the new emoji. The Goy Master emoji.
The Goy Master.
Throw it down, Junius.
I gotta find it. You will own nothing. As George Soros says, you will own nothing and you'll be happy.
There we go. Just fill the chat with them.
We've been lied to. We've been robbed. And so, again, none of the information I think that you're going to get on any of the metal fronts is ever going to be accurate. And that's why it's difficult to quote them. I mean, we do. It's what we're given. It's the information we have to report. But do we believe it? No. I don't believe any of what they say about anything, ever. And currently, we've got silver at $78.20. This is on, it's up $1 again on CNBC. So that sell-off was consumed, it looks like. That sell-off that we saw earlier down to 76. It's again, this is it's crazy movement because earlier it opened $5 up, which if you have paid attention, would make it the number 2 highest value push trading day in the history of silver as valued in dollars. Because the other day, we already have witnessed history. That was the single biggest push, the largest increase in price in dollars in the history of the silver price in dollars ever. So that would mark today, if it continues on, if it goes up to $5, $6, we're already going to be in another record-breaking, well, it won't break the record, it'll be number 2. It'll be second place as far as dollar increases on silver. Now, surprisingly, this isn't making a lot of news.
Hey,
what?
Sorry, why don't you ask chat what happened to the Fort Knox audit?
Oh, you think chat would know? You think they're going to?
Maybe.
Yeah, I should. Let's do that real quick. Let's see, chat. Hey, chat, old buddy, old pal. Hey, I'll even say that. Hey, chat, old buddy, old pal. I think if I talk to him that way, he'll probably be like, oh, this guy's cool. He likes me because it's AI. He's sentient. I mean, he has like his own thoughts, right? Like me and him, we connect, right? We have a relationship. So I'm gonna call him old buddy, old pal. Just kind of butter him up.
Old sport.
Oh, that's a good one. Old sport. Maybe he'll really give me the truth now. I was wondering, I'm going to say really innocently. Remember when Orange Man Trump and Elon said they were going to audit Fort Knox? What happened with that? There. I want to make him think I'm just curious, and I'm going to get back to my sports football, and I'll go root for the Bears or something. So let's see what he says. Let's see what Chad has to say about this. Here's the current succinct reality of what happened with the talk about Trump, Musk, and a Fort Knox audit. Okay, there's a couple articles. Trump asks if somebody stole the Fort Knox gold, what to know about the $400 billion stash. Elon, well, that's what it was back then. It's like $1 trillion. It's tripled since then, probably. Elon to be let inside Fort Knox. Okay. What Trump and Musk talked about in 2025, as we know they talked about it. What actually happened? An official full audit has not taken place. There's no confirmed audit scheduled. As of the latest public reporting, the U.S. Treasury and its mint say the gold is audited internally. Yeah, don't worry about it. We was looking into it. It's all there. Now shut the hell up and go away from here. Our bosses told us you can't come here. You're not allowed to look inside a vault. So get lost, squite. And their boss, if you know, is...
They must have lost their glasses.
But who's their boss? You want to know who their boss is? Hey, Everybaum Singlestein Timowitz. It's that guy. Every guy. You know what I'm talking about. He was in the sewers. He was crawling around down there. Yeah, he had a couple of blood-stained mattresses hidden in a wall somewhere. I don't know. He's gone today. He's at work. He's doing somethings. So no audits taking place because their boss has told them so. And the U.S. Treasury and its mint say the gold is audited internally. And what's that? What are we looking at? Paul S., thanks for the super take. Somalis to Mars. Support the new current thing. Yeah, let's give them a planet. I'll give them a whole planet. So I'm curious here. The Treasury Secretary has pushed back on the idea that anything is missing. If nothing's missing, then why would you push back, dude? Let him in there. What would you have to hide? You know what I'm saying? That's what they say about me all the time. That's what they say about you. Well, if they had nothing to hide, they'd let us look at their bank account statements. The Patriot Act is necessary. If they had nothing to hide, there would be nothing to worry about if they're not doing anything wrong. Well, I'm going to say the same thing to you, government official, Treasury guy. You work for me, tough guy. I'm a citizen. You're a government employee. Shut the hell up and let me in the vault. We're going to look around. And if anything's missing, we're going to enact the 1792 Coinage Act. You're going to be hanged until dead, like it says in there. Because it says that in there. You should read it. The founders of this country wrote that shit. Hanged by the neck until dead. Yeah. Them's his words, isn't them? I love it. We got to bring that back again. We got to bring that back. Don't you think people would hold their office and the integrity of their office a little more diligently if there was things like, hey, we're going to come in here because, the Pentagon, they failed their 8th or 10th audit recently. The Pentagon, they always fail their audits because trillions is missing. There's all this fraud in Minnesota, trillions and billions. The plane hit the building and they burned up all the audit. The PDF files. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have things back like that again where public officials could be hanged by the neck until dead? That's not a radical position. That was literally written down. The founders of this country penned that by hand. Do you know what type of effort it takes to dip a quill ink into a jar of ink and to transfer it over to paper and slowly and beautifully use calligraphy to scroll there with the most pristine and perfect artistic penmanship words like hanged by the neck until dead? Do you realize how much thought would go into making that? Have you ever tried to write like they do? They thought that out. That took like 2 minutes to put on paper. They had plenty of time to say, well, what if we just had like a commission and we investigated them and we just wrote a paper about it and then the guy could just like retire to Connecticut and play golf the rest of his life? Don't you think someone else like, no, I beg to differ, Samuel. I beg to differ. I believe we should pen hanged by the neck until dead. Yes, that's rather brilliant, I think. As a matter of fact, I think that's perfect. That's all right. Hanged by the neck until dead. There you go. I'll put a little scroll here. Why don't I do this? I'm going to scroll the right and then run a line through it. That's beautiful. Look at that. That's absolutely splendid. Hanged by the neck until dead. I think the entire government would operate differently because at the end of the year they'd go through the books, they'd count Something's off here. Get their department heads over here immediately. And then when it's all done and there's an investigation, we have like CNN, Fox, CNBC, MSNBC tunes on. We have the annual hanging of politicians. Every year, because, come on now, there's thousands of employees. So every once in a while, someone's going to F up. It's a guarantee. It's a given. There's going to be one or two, at least. You have, like, the big national spectacle. People would pay. Would you not tune in for this?
I'd pay PBS for it.
$100. I'd pay $100 pay-per-view to watch this shit. So everyone tunes in. It's the annual yearly hangings of the politicians hanging by the neck until dead.
Ken Burns to narrate the entire
Ken Burns is narrating it. Ad space would be unbelievable revenue maker. Americans are tuning in. And it's done, just like they used to do. Take the kids there. See, kids, this is why you're honest. This is why you tell the truth. This is why you don't lie. See, look at this guy. Mommy, what did he do? Oh, Senator Burns? Oh, he embezzled a lot of money from his constituents. Oh, what did that guy do? He works for the Treasury, and they're missing some gold, honey. So they're going to hang him by the neck until dead. Okay? Now just pay attention, look up front, and watch this happen. That guy's going to pull a lever, and then they're going to drop through a plank. And what it does, it's pretty quick, though. It pops their cerebellum, right? The basilar portion of their skull, right where the brainstem kind of goes up into the brain. It just kind of pops it loose. And it's lights out. They shut down pretty quickly. It's not that bad. It's actually quite humane. So just pay attention, watch this, and you'll see it happen. And then the floor drops out and it's over. It's actually, if you've ever seen it, it's not very, it's kind of anticlimactic. There might be some twitching or kicking here and there, but it's not a very dramatic execution style. The French with their guillotine was much more elaborate. We're not going to go full French here. We're a little bit more civilized than the frog eaters. Are we not? After all, this was a British colony, was it not? History's just ripe with crazy things, isn't it? So anyways, nothing happened. Nothing's moved forward. A real complete audit would be logistically huge. Really, would it now? Really, I'll go in there and do it. Give me a weekend with James Richter and Rolfe and a notepad, please, to count that many bars. A real complete audit of Fort Knox would be logistically huge. Handling hundreds of thousands of bars takes time and resources. I guarantee you, give me a forklift, James and Rolfe. Any good forklift operators in the chat? We could audit them in a weekend. We'll count them up. We'll count the bars. We'll weigh some stuff. Team effort. We'll get it done. Anyways, my time and resources. Well, why don't you make time? Make the time. How about this? You work for us, and we're telling you as the taxpayers, make the time. How about this? Why don't you guys make some cuts somewhere? You find some of those little useless guys in adult daycare. The pencil pushers that aren't really doing anything. And get them over there. Make them work. Make them earn their paycheck. Public reporting suggests the topic has faded from headlines. Now, I wonder why that is. The topic has faded. Hear that? What is that? That's the nothing world will happen wind. It's a breeze. It blows by, and it just blows the news away into the distant past. And soon people forget about it. Yeah. So apparently it's faded from headlines, and major audit or inspection event has not occurred. Bottom line, there was no push. Mainly, it was just talk, hyperbole. And this is where you hand out that Fell For Me award, the Fell For Me Again award. Because people fall for this over and over again. They keep falling for things. Trump says this, Elon says this. They're going to do something. They're not going to do anything. No one's been to jail. No one's been arrested. Doji got eliminated. The courts came in. All of those cuts were just BS. It was all headlines. It's all entertainment for boomers.
Those January 6th people screwed unless they do something before this January 6th?
I think they're gone. No, they're done. They're good. The people who perpetrated it. Now,
yeah.
That's
what I'm saying.
The true conspirators.
Yeah.
The agents of chaos, the agents of the feds.
Yeah.
The feds, the Fed boys, the glowies. The glowies that actually are responsible for the chaos and violence and the ultimate resulting death on January 6th, they have the statute of limitations is coming up in January 6th of this year or whatever,
right,
of the crime being committed by the Fed boys, the glowies. And if charges are not filed or pressed against the people who they knew now and know now, as evidence has come out and is out there, it's completely out there. Again, there has been multiple reliable outlets that have already reported this. I am not going to go into detail on it. The point is, if the charges are not filed, statute of limitations hits, boom, they can never be charged, and they're going to live out their lives on golf courses in retirement somewhere in Connecticut, as most Fed boys do.
They were glowing brighter than Erica Kirk's pantsuits.
They were glowing brighter than Erica pantsuits. Yes, Erica Kirk and all of her grieving and fireworks and all of her celebrations. Stop!
Don't her. She's grieving.
Stop.
Differently.
Stop, Mrs. Maltby. That's all I have to say. Stop. Just stop. By the power within me, I order you to stop. Sorry. Sorry, my demon came out. How about this? Shut up. No one wants to hear from you, woman. Trump, are we still talking about the Fort Knox audit? What audit? I never said that. What audit? What files? There's no files. That's a conspiracy. A Fort Knox audit was a Democrat conspiracy. I never said that. Fell for it again award. Congratulations. You have now earned your 10,000th Fell for it again award. Pin it to your chest with pride, my friend, because you fell for it again. The people who are really going to fall for this again are the people that vote Republican coming up in 2026. What is it?
Put it next to your COVID vax card.
The thing is, voting's never going to change anything. We know that. Except at this point, it's full blown. You just got to accelerate, man. You got to buckle up, ride it out. Remember, the ride never ends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins. The fraud's still there. The fraud stays the same. The food's still poisoned. You're still taxed to death. Inflation still happens. The wars still happen. The innocent still die. You lose your rights. You're more surveilled, and the surveillance state grows over and over and over again. And then everyone keeps going to the polls and just putting their head down and carrying their signs and arguing on Facebook about this candidate versus this candidate. I like herpes. You like hemorrhoids. I mean, come on now. It's all AIDS, man. The body politic is riddled with it. It's dying. It's over, man. They're just a bunch of guys with plans, see? Schemes. They've got all these ideas up in their head, and they think they're going to control the world and make things happen. Well, you see, we're here to tell them we're not going to play by their rules anymore. You see, we're going to buy gold and silver, and we're going to hide out, and we're not going to play their system. We're not going to vote. No one's going to show up. And pretty soon, we're just going to stop doing what they tell us to do, okay? That's what needs to happen. We need... See, that's the idea. That's what it comes down. That's the ideology of precious metal. That's where I look at it going. You see, I think you guys, we deserve a better class of stacker, and I believe in that all of sound money and my journey in precious metals, and I think a lot of you agree with this and have also been involved in this journey. When you travel down the path of precious metals and sound money from the point of first inception, when the idea is introduced to you, and on that journey as you progress and you explore and you fall completely down into the rabbi hole of sound money and economics and what has happened to economies and the story of money and the wealth robbed from us and how the world operates, it becomes very clear that it's heavily tied to everything else, and it's this elaborate web of lies and deceit, power. And it all points to very similar directions and officials and elite individuals that want control and power because, again, they said it themselves and they leave crumbs of truth and evidence throughout history. You know, give me control of the money and I care not who writes their laws. They say things like that. They say that gold is money. Everything else is just credit. But they issue you credit and paper and make you hold paper. They ban you from holding metals, but they hold metals themselves. We've seen it. The lies perpetuated. G-Dub, real quick, thank you for the super chat there, my friend.
We were just talking about this, Junius. So he says, hot tip. As a fellow Gentile, avoid the movie Marty Supreme. Meaningless, vulgar, ugly entertainment from an alien culture forced upon us on Christmas Day and promoted as movie of the year. Avoid. So we've been watching nothing but old movies for like the last couple months. And there's something very refreshing about those old movies. Yeah. Lawrence of Arabia, for instance. We just watched Lawrence of Arabia. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. And we wanted to watch it. 4 hours of zero women. And just badass.
There were women. They were like props.
Yeah,
they were in their burqas in the background a couple of times.
I've never wanted a camel more than I want one now.
A great movie.
Yeah, and then we watched, because we were talking about it on the channel. We watched Zulu the other day.
That was a good movie.
And same thing, like the one woman in the entire movie was annoying as hell.
And then we've watched a lot of good classics recently, and that's just a good journey to be on as far as old films. And
you can't watch new movies anymore.
They're garbage. There's nothing worth. Don't even give me money.
There is nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing worth
about
seeing.
Any new movies.
Yep, there's nothing worth seeing, and that's the other thing. You vote with your dollar, you vote with your currency and such. Don't even support them. Don't even pay the modern entertainment industry your dollars. Don't attend their films. Don't rent them. Avoid it. Just like, don't watch their NFL games, their sports basketball with their trainee cheerleaders and their garbage commercials. It's all filth. It's all just pestilence and disease for your mind.
Paul's 6677 says American Graffiti. We were just talking about that because we were watching the making of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of George Lucas's
the first one, the original.
Propelled him into a position to be able to make something like Star Wars. Because what did you get for Christmas from a friend of yours?
Oh, a good friend of this channel who's a collector of, and he knows, being the generation that we share, that we're both Gen Xers. He has an elaborate, and this is a huge stacker guy, and he, you know what? He's at the point in his life where he's got some money. He's like, I'm gonna collect some things that I didn't get to have as a kid, or he's always liked Star Wars, and he built a really cool collection of some, classic Star Wars fighters, very accurately done. And he even goes as far as to airbrush them and do some paint scheme work on them and decal work and make them even more realistic and true to the films or whatever. And he knew I didn't have one. And I didn't say, give me one of those, whatever. But for Christmas, he sent me an Luke's X-Wing fighter with R2 and Luke.
It's literally hanging in the office.
So I hung it in the office.
Fishing string.
And it's very accurately well made. And it's pretty cool. Anyways.
The Soggy Pineapple 5197 says, if I have to watch another 90-pound chick take out a 6'4", 250-pound dude, I might puke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, a friend of mine told me that the new Mission Impossible had like a female president or lesbian president, female admiral, female lesbian special forces units, and like he said, it was just like DEI, the alphabet people, Rainbow Coalition, on point, saving the planet in Mission Impossible. It's like Mission Queer Possible. Anyway, it was comedic. It's just funny how that is. It's funny how that is because that's not reality. I mean, let's be honest here. That's make believe. It's make believe land.
What was that super lame ass series? The Terminal List, right?
Yeah, wasn't there some special forces?
Yeah, there was like some, and then every third word is brother. It was definitely directed by Brock.
Oh yeah, Brock was heavily involved in that garbage. It's goy slop.
Anyway, that super chat just reminded me because we were heavily discussing this today with Junius's parents.
Yeah.
The state of movies.
The state of movies. Alrighty, my friends. Let's go check in one more time before we tune out. And we've got a silver $78 holding 78 still. So we'll see where it opens up tomorrow in the U.S., what takes place here. And then we got to keep paying attention because we've got January 1st coming up with China banning exports. So anyways, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Junius Maltby Channel. And I see Cosmo there with the final super chat, my friend. Thank you. He says, rewatched Demolition Man, predicted soy liberal future. Yes, very good. I actually watched that, I think, 2 years ago. Again, rewatched Demolition Man. Phenomenal. Yes. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the Junius Maltby broadcast tonight.
In the last video, we did see some comments with super chat because you can super chat after videos in comments. So if you guys were one of those who left a super chat in those comments, thank you. And also, Junius can reply to you with an audio clip now. So if you were not aware, go back and check your comment because he may have.
Yeah, I look for your guys' comments, those super chats that show up later on, and I try to. I'll be addressing those via an audio reply, which YouTube just recently notified me has been made available. So apparently, I can go into YouTube, click on your comment, and do audio reply with this voice or whatever voice perhaps you choose. You might get a Max reply. I don't know. You might get somebody. You might get who's the guy from Bronklin again? Who knows who? I don't know. Or you might get the other guy, my friend, the one that's good. You know who I'm talking about? This guy. Anyways, okay. Thank you for tuning in to the Junius Maltby Channel. Everybody, have a good rest of your evening.